Imagine a world where your deepest, darkest thoughts were no longer yours alone. Neuralink promises incredible advancements, but what if privacy became an archaic word? This isn't science fiction anymore. We are on the precipice of a future where your mind could be an open book, for better or for worse. Are you ready for that? Stop. Before you get too excited about the possibilities of Neuralink, consider the terrifying downside. What happens when your inner monologue, your fleeting anxieties, your secret desires are no longer private? The danger isn't just about what others might know, but how it fundamentally changes who we are and how we interact. This could be the end of genuine personal space. Now let's be clear. The potential good is astounding. Restoring mobility to the paralyzed, sight to the blind, helping people with severe neurological disorders. These are noble, world-changing goals. And for those applications, the benefits could massively outweigh the risks. We're talking about giving people back their lives. That's a powerful, beautiful thing. And initially, this technology will be for medical use, for people who are in desperate need of a breakthrough. But technology has a funny way of trickling down, doesn't it? What starts in a lab or a hospital often ends up in our pockets, on our wrists, and, in this case, potentially in our brains. The history of tech is a history of expansion. The first computers filled entire rooms. Now we carry them everywhere. The internet was a military project. Now it's where we live our lives. So the question isn't if brain-computer interfaces will become consumer products, but when and how. And that's where the real conversation begins. What happens when Neuralink or a similar technology is no longer just for therapy, but for enhancement? When it's marketed as the next iPhone, the ultimate upgrade for your mind. Think faster. Learn a language instantly. Never forget a name again. The marketing slogans practically write themselves. It's an enticing vision, a leap towards a superhuman future. But every leap has a landing, and we need to look where we're jumping. Think about your own mind for a second. It's not a neat, tidy filing cabinet. It's a chaotic, beautiful mess. You have fleeting thoughts, intrusive anxieties, embarrassing memories, secret daydreams. You might mentally rehearse a difficult conversation or have a silly, nonsensical thought pop into your head. This internal world is your last true sanctuary of privacy. It's where you can be unfiltered, unjudged. It's the raw, unedited version of you. Now imagine that raw data stream being accessible, not just to you, but potentially to a corporation, or the government, or a hacker. We already struggle to control our digital footprint, our search history, our social media posts, our location data. Companies build vast profiles on us just from what we click. Now imagine if they had access to what you think, what you feel, what you desire, before you even consciously acknowledge it. Think about advertising. Today, an ad might pop up because you searched for a pair of shoes. In a Neuralink-powered future, an ad could pop up because you had a fleeting thought about being thirsty. You think, I'm kind of hungry. And suddenly, a perfectly tailored ad for your favorite pizza place with a discount code is projected into your mind's eye. It sounds convenient, but it's also a terrifying level of manipulation. Your own thoughts become a commodity, another data point to be bought and sold. And what about social interactions? We all have a social filter. We don't say everything we think. That filter is what allows society to function. It allows for politeness, for diplomacy, for kindness even when we're feeling frustrated. If your true, unfiltered thoughts about your boss, your partner, or your friends could be read, how would that change your relationships? Would honesty become brutal and unavoidable? Would we lose the ability to maintain the small, necessary fictions that smooth over the rough edges of human interaction? It could dismantle the very fabric of our social lives. This brings us to a huge, blinking red light: security. We can't even keep our credit card numbers safe. Major corporations and governments are hacked regularly. What happens when the target isn't a database of emails, but a database of human consciousness? A hacker wouldn't just be stealing information. They could be stealing your very identity, your memories, your thoughts. Could they alter them? Could they implant new ones? The film Inception suddenly feels less like fantasy and more like a potential future instruction manual for cybercriminals. The legal and ethical minefields are enormous. Who owns your thoughts once they are digitized? Do you? Does Neuralink? If your brain data is stored on a server, can it be subpoenaed in a court case? Could you be convicted of a crime, not for something you did, but for something you thought about doing? This is a philosophical and legal abyss that we are completely unprepared to navigate. Thought crime is a concept from dystopian fiction, but brain-computer interfaces could make it a terrifyingly real possibility. We need to have these conversations now, before the technology is widespread. We have to ask ourselves, are we willing to trade our last bastion of privacy for convenience and enhancement? Is the ability to stream music directly to your brain worth the risk of having your deepest fears used against you? Is instant knowledge worth the price of your mental autonomy? The promise of Neuralink is a double-edged sword. On one side, it offers hope and healing on a scale we've never seen before. It could fix what is broken, but on the other side, it threatens to break what is most fundamentally human, our private, inner world. The very idea of a self that is separate from the outside world could be eroded. So what's the solution? We can't just uninvent the technology. The genie is out of the bottle. What we need is a massive global conversation about the ethics of neurotechnology. We need robust regulations, impenetrable security standards, and clear laws that establish mental privacy as a fundamental human right. We need to build the ethical guardrails before the car is speeding down the highway. The development of this tech cannot be driven solely by corporate profit motives. It has to be guided by a deep and abiding respect for human dignity and autonomy. This isn't about being anti-technology or anti-progress. It's about being pro-humanity. It's about ensuring that as we merge with our machines, we don't lose ourselves in the process. The future is coming, and it could be incredible. But we have to build it thoughtfully, carefully, and with our eyes wide open to the potential dangers as well as the dazzling possibilities. The privacy of your mind may be the last frontier, and it's one we